What's going on, everyone? My name is Max, and we are back for another F1 reaction. Guys, on this channel, I look at all different types of people's communication skills, and I give you my thoughts. If you like my content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Today, we're going to be checking out Charles Leclerc. Watching Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton has actually made me curious about F1 in general, because I've been reading all your comments, and it seems like there's some really interesting personalities and dynamics within the sport. Either way, we're going to check out Charles Leclerc today. I'm looking forward to it. First time watching him. Here we go.
Does a little bit. I didn't know what to expect starting the year with Ferrari. First year with Ferrari, it's always very intimidating once you're arriving in the team next to Seb, who is a 4-time world champion. So it was a big challenge for me, but I've learned a lot from Seb. And in the beginning of the season, the first...
He seems a little lighter than the other two guys that I've checked out before, Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. He just seems a little bit more easygoing. Those two guys seem a little bit more intense than Charles right off the bat.
Race, so I focused quite a lot on the qualifying and did quite a big step from France onwards in qualifying, which was good to see. And then in the race, I think I've still got quite a bit of work to do. Seb has a big experience in the race, and he's stronger than me at the moment. So
interesting. I wonder what his sort of level of competitiveness is like. He's being very clear that he's not as skilled as Sebastian.
And he's stronger than me at the moment.
Very honest, similar to Max Verstappen a little in that way, who just seemed very pragmatic. He seemed like a realist. Although Charles doesn't seem to carry himself with the same type of confidence as a Max Verstappen. This is also in 2019, so I'd imagine Charles has matured and grown since then. But just judging by his posture a little as well, Charles doesn't project himself with that same air of confidence in this interview as the ones I watched with Max and Lewis.
I always analyze very well my mistakes, what I can do better, and normally I think my strength is to try and not making the mistakes again, or to improve from the weak points I've got. So there's still a big margin of improvement still. And
I like this guy. Again, he seems like one of these realistic dudes. He seems to be very aware of what his strengths are, but he's equally as honest in verbalizing what he needs to improve on. As a communicator, these are one of the things that makes us drawn to a person. What you're getting is a sense of honesty. And I feel like as an audience, our guards go down when we sense the person that we're listening to is being honest. Now, I don't get the same intensity from Charles as I do Max, but there's definitely a pragmatism and a certain amount of directness and certainly honesty to Charles.
Everyone works differently. Some people doesn't work like this. I do, and I never like to blame others whenever I do a mistake. So that's why I'm hard. At the end, I'm not hard. I think I'm just objective, which helps me to get better whenever I do something wrong.
Because he's kind of giving me young Max Verstappen vibes a little. Although Charles seems a little bit lighter. He seems to be a little bit more charming in a way. You know, you just see a little bit more expression from Charles. He doesn't seem to be as emotionally controlled as a Max Verstappen.
Well, I'm able to see the car because there's a lot of photographs, as you said. But yeah, whenever I can see the car, I'm happy to see it and to be next to it. And that's where I feel best. So I just stay there.
Is it not distracting having...
You know what? He actually is sort of an intense-seeming guy as well. It's almost like these guys don't let themselves get too loose. And I haven't seen a lot of them, but Charles, like, he'll kind of smile a little when there's a subject outside of racing, and it looks like, and it seems like, he's willing to be just a little expressive and show a little emotion and have a little bit of fun, but not too much.
Progress, as you said, but yeah, whenever I can see the car, I'm happy to...
It's like a controlled fun. There's still sort of an intensity and restrictive nature to how he communicates. Although there's sort of an illusion of lightness and youthfulness because he's this like young, good-looking guy who will smile at times, and you know, he's got this charm to him. There's a vulnerability in a way to him because he does talk about his weaknesses. But again, I don't think he actually gives us that much.
Mercedes, the three people who are going to define Formula One over the next few years. How does it feel to be a part of this kind of the trio?
See what he says here.
The next golden era.
Well, it feels very good. On the other hand, I don't think we are only us three, and I think
Immediately, he wants to give other people their respect. Right away, like answer that question. We're like, it feels very good,
well, it feels very good.
but I don't want to stay in that answer.
On the other hand, I don't think we are only us three.
He's humble. He's not quick to take credit. It doesn't feel like he's actually. It seems like he's quicker to deflect than take.
On the other hand, I don't think we are only us three, and I think overall it's going to be a very exciting time for Formula One. There are a lot of youngsters coming.
The humility doesn't seem forced or fake in any way. Getting on top of the question, let me address this immediately. Yes, it feels good, but I don't think it's only us three. So I think he's very honest about that, and I think it seems like he's the type of guy that he wants to win fairly. Yes, I'm in this category with Max and Lewis, but let's set the record straight. There's more to this. It's not just us. So I think being honest and fair and right, just judging on some of his answers, is very important to Charles Leclerc.
Well, I mean, there are three top teams, but I'm pretty sure some young guys will come in these top teams, and it will be very, very tough. So it's going to be very exciting.
And that's the type of shit that makes you like a guy like Charles Leclerc, right? He's paying respect and giving props to the youngsters coming up. Like there's something about that is endearing.
Pretty sure some young guys will come in these top teams.
And you can see by his expression, like he's excited about talking about the youngsters. That can't help but bring a smile to your face, I'm sure, as a Charles fan, watching him talk about other people and deflecting the attention away from himself. And probably a reason so many people like Charles Leclerc is because of what it seems to be a lot of humility.
It will be very, very tough. So it's going to be very exciting.
Does your perception of that battle kind of different now than it was 12 months ago? Because you kind of...
And maybe as an F1 driver, you have to sort of keep it real in a sense because you can never doubt your competition. Maybe they've just sort of conditioned themselves in a way as well to be hyper realistic and hyper honest about what they're up against. Because if you have any sort of ego in this game, maybe that's to your detriment. Maybe that's part of it. But with Charles, he seems to be hyper aware of his competition and very respectful. And I'm sure that keeps him grounded and on top of his game.
Yeah, you feel proud the first time you are fighting with them because these are drivers that I've been looking in the past when I was in karting or starting my single-seater career, hoping to join them one day. So to fight on track with them is something quite special.
So he's a little bit more expressive, I feel like, than Max. You see him smiling throughout this interview when he's talking about something that he enjoys. So there's a different sort of charm to Charles, and I can see him being very likable.
2019 winter testing went a lot better than the first race. So we'll wait the first race, but we've been, I think, working well, definitely more ready than at the beginning of 2019.
He reminds me of Max in a lot of the ways he communicates. Realistic, honest, straightforward. There might be a little bit more lightness to Charles, but there's still sort of a restrictiveness to the way he communicates. He's still a little bit of a mystery to me. I'm gonna have to watch some more of Charles. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that reaction. That was my first time watching Charles Leclerc. And guys, if you wanna watch my uncut reaction, all you need to do is go to my Patreon page. I've included the link in my description below. Other than that, my name is Max. I will catch you soon. Peace.